right now. But hi, if you don't know, my name is Ari, and this is my music business news podcast called Run It Back. I'm tired. I got a lot of sleep today, but I am still extremely tired. But today, we have a lot to get through. Like more than usual, actually, to get through. As per usual, we're going to be talking about some new music, artist accomplishments, updates in the industry. Less Web3 shit than usual. But on that note, I'm gonna get straight into it. So for new music, I say this every single time. I cannot get through every single new piece of music that comes out this week. If you don't know, there are about 60,000 songs uploaded to just Spotify every single day. But if you're interested in having me talk a little bit about your new release, definitely send me a DM, send me an email, and just let me know because I'm always open to it. On that note, we have Kashma with an album called Purple Apartment, Raheem with For You, V's Let It Fly. We have Nicki Minaj and Coyle Ray with Blick Blick. They just released the music video for that a couple days ago. It's I'm gonna be very real, but maybe I shouldn't because it's Nicki Minaj. I'm gonna hold myself back, but what I'll say is that I wanted more from Nicki specifically. I've been wanting more from Nicki, but it's Nicki, so like it's just Nicki Minaj. We have Mace with a track called Oracle 2, which is essentially just a a diss track to Diddy and Bad Boy Records in general. It was very interesting. How do I put this? It was interesting to listen to. I have my own like perspective and opinion on Diddy and Bad Boy Records, but the song sonically was okay in my opinion. But the subject matter, like the bars itself, were good. But yeah, that's what I'll say about that. And then we have Elaine with a song called Shine. This bitch can sing, first of all. And this song gave like very much The Weeknd vibes. It was nice. It wasn't like something I haven't heard before. But it was a good song, nice to listen to. Like she has a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful voice. So if anything, I would probably like look more at the rest of her catalog to see what else she can bring. But overall, if you like The Weeknd, if you like, pop R&B, that kind of vibe, I would take a listen. In terms of stuff that I liked that I saw, so my likes for this week. During an interview with Joe Budden, Nicki Minaj called out Anna Wintour, who, if you don't know, is the editor-in-chief of Vogue. And essentially, Nicki called her out for selecting people like Billie Eilish and essentially white pop girlies over her and other extremely accomplished, rappers and women of color in the industry to put on the cover of Vogue. And I think this is a very important conversation. Like, if we just want to compare like Nicki and Billie, and Billie is another person who like I have my own opinion on her and whatnot. But if we just want to like straight facts, numbers, and influence, Nicki they're not on the same level. And for Billie to have graced the cover of Vogue before Nicki Minaj, or really before any accomplished, female rapper who's not a white woman, is jarring. It's not necessarily surprising because we know the world that we live in, but I'm glad that Nicki was just like real about it and very honest and was just like, why? What's the issue? Let's change something about this. On another note, we have Ari Lennox and her management team, Black Wax, quote unquote amicably departing ways. If you can't tell, my throat is dead. Anyways, Ari Lennox and her management team have, quote unquote, amicably decided to part ways. She first signed with them in 2012, and they have a good relationship with each other. But she is currently working, on her sophomore album and seeking just different management for whatever specific reason it is. I'm sure that there will be, other things that come out on the specificities of it. But in truth, in business, sometimes that just happens. Like sometimes either you don't vibe with the person anymore, or your ideas and goals just don't align anymore. And we've seen Ari Lennox go through a lot in the media. And in life in general, but because she is a public figure and she's someone who is, famous, all of it has been on display for us to see. So I can understand why maybe she's upset with the way that her team, kind of handled these specific situations, because she was low-key like drugged through the mud. She had people on her side, but Ari has been going through it. And I just hope that whoever takes her on can adequately protect her. And that's what I'll say about that. There was an article released in Billboard a couple days ago on advice for women coming up in the industry. If there's a story about women in the industry, I'm going to put it in here, especially if I feel like it's valuable, because I don't know how many how many times that I've said this, just in life and also in this podcast. Women are so far and few between in this fucking industry. If you see me, if you know me in real life and you've seen me at events, either that I do or that I'm a part of or that I'm just at, I'm one out of probably, if 6 to 7, maybe 10 out of a total of 40, 50 people in the building. So that is that real life shit on a smaller scale is how the industry is in general. We are so outnumbered. We are not respected at all unless we are bitches. But even when we're assholes, then we're assholes. So what's the point? But on that note, I'm going to actually tell you what this advice was and who has come from. So we have Kara Williams, who is the director of Slow Clap. Lord have mercy. She says, know the value of your worth early in your career and don't settle for less. As a woman, we are conditioned to say yes to jobs that pay us less than what we're worth. Yes to exploitation under the guise of exposure or experience. Yes to putting ourselves in situations that test our professional boundaries. And essentially what she's saying is, don't. Lord have mercy. We're trained to do it since our birth, as she said, but learning the skill of saying no, especially to a man, is so, especially in life, but in the industry, in professionality, it's important for your personal peace. So important for your personal peace. But it's also, I think, when you have that ability, depending on who you're speaking to, respect can come out of that as well. Yeah. We have, oh my God, man. I'm dying. I really shouldn't even be speaking because my is bad. But we're gonna push through because I have so much more to talk about. All right. I'm just gonna move on to the next person because I'm dying right now. Okay. Lucille Croft, who is an artist, producer, and creative director, says, the industry is not for the faint-hearted. You need to have a thick skin, you need to be resilient, and you need to have fire inside you ready to fight every step of the way. As a woman in music, everything you do will be questioned. Your DJing, your production, how you dress, all of it. You'll have managers, A&Rs, agents, and labels telling you what you need to do to succeed and how they think you should do it. Oh my God. Advice to myself when I started, I'd tell myself to tell those people to fuck off and believe in my brand and back myself. If you believe in what you're doing, just do it. And like, yes, this is catered towards women, but if you're probably a man watching this, two things that I'll say about it. Notice the women around you in the industry. You don't have to be like a weirdo about it and be like, how does it feel to be one of the minorities in the industry? But just be cognizant of like that this is the landscape of the industry that you're in. And I get that like we're all trying to make it, but just be cognizant of it and do what you can to like offset the bullshit, you know what I mean? And also listen to what I'm saying, not just for, the women around you in the industry, but for yourself as well. Like all of these things go for men as well, are things that, they should believe in, they should think about. They are just, you're going to think about them in a different way as women, if that makes any sense. Claudia Cook, who is a label manager at Cooking Vinyl Australia, says, work hard and believe in yourself. It's really easy to let people cut you down in this industry. So know that you're worthy. It's also important to use your voice. Don't be afraid to speak up. Most importantly, don't be intimidated by the huge egos that surround you. They can easily consume you, but their bark is often worse than their bite. Rise above it. We have Katrina Holcomb, the director of music at Sony Music Australia. She says 3 things. Value yourself and your well-being. You should always be learning and growing. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Challenge others and speak up. We have Poppy Reed, the editor-in-chief of The Brag Media and Rolling Stone. Her advice is to find like-minded people and invest in that community. Something that she wishes that she did more coming up in the industry, because the truth is she didn't think that she was worth any of it, any of the praise, any of the love, all of that. We have Natasha Stambuli, the general manager at Boomplay, says she didn't think that she would end up in the music industry. She studied international relationships and even worked for the UN for a short time. But I'm like totally reading the wrong shit right now. This is what happens when you have a printer that just fucks shit up. Because this, give me a second, y'all. Today is all over the place. If you couldn't tell, I did not wake up until 4:30 in the afternoon, because I was up for a good 20 hours yesterday and the day before. So I'm just I'm tweaking right now. Let's see. This is going to take me a second. Oh, shit. This is sad, though. I'm sorry that y'all have to. This should have all been worked out before I hit go live, but shit happens, y'all. So yeah, D. All right. This is ridiculous. This is the last fucking page. Okay. All right. I know where I am now. Cool. Wow. Some other stuff within my likes. We have Loco Inc. taking on, and his specific take on the digitization of music. So the 2 main things that he talks about are accessibility and the power that an artist has. So talking about accessibility, He states that one of the greatest impacts of digitization is freedom and accessibility it has afforded to fans. No matter what device you use, where in the world you travel, digital music allows you to listen to anything, anywhere, at any time. Also allows listeners the freedom to access various music independently without having to purchase an album. So there's a lot. If you don't know, it's kind of obvious, but like digitization of music, iTunes, and now Spotify and Apple Music and all that stuff. Like the industry was flipped on its fucking head, and it's changed so much. And basically, like any type of change, there's good and there's bad that comes to it. The digitization of music saved the industry, absolutely saved, because as we know, piracy was how people got their music like 10-15 years ago, and it's still something that happens. There's I'm sure you guys were the same way back in middle school and high school. Like you had some type of like downloader app where you just had whatever the fuck you wanted on that bitch, because none of us wanted to pay and none of us want to pay, but people pay for convenience, which is where, you know, streaming services come in, because people just pay for convenience. That's really the basis of it. And though streaming saved the industry, essentially stopped piracy, and there's a lot of money in it, especially for labels and for the streaming services themselves, who aren't even in the music industry, most of them. They're tech companies. But the downside that I personally see about it, and I have talked about this before, I'm going to continue saying it because I want to continue the conversation about it. I think it's important. Most artists, I hate live, like I hate my phone. Anyway, most artists cannot survive off of streaming. A couple weeks ago in one of these episodes, there was a story about the middle class of artists. What is going on my phone? Okay, there's a story about the middle class of artists. We're getting back to a level where that's more possible for people. There, of course, are still middle class artists, aka artists who can adequately support themselves just with their career, whether that's gigging, selling merch, selling physical music, their brand, all of that. But it's very it's hard. It's two sides of this coin. If you don't have the knowledge and the right people or somewhat adequate resources behind you, it's difficult to get there. But in my opinion, everyone should have the ability to work, to do the job that they want to do and survive off of it. So the fact that Spotify, or really any service, like any streaming services besides Deezer, I fuck with you for your pay scale, your model. You're undervaluing music and the artists and the time and energy put behind it with 0.00000 whatever the fuck, right? That's how I feel. Is it going to change? I don't think so. There's been plenty of petitions and protests and blah, blah, blah about this specific topic. The only thing I could say is like, motherfuckers got to stop using Spotify, which isn't going to happen. So I'm going to move on to that and talk about the power of artists in Loco Inc.'s take. He says, trying to catch the attention of a music label to make their music heard is becoming a thing of the past for independent musicians. He says that distribution platforms such as SoundCloud have put the power back into the hands of the artist. He says more about that, but I'm gonna give you my little take. He's 100% right. We're in such a weird, I think change is really the crux of everything. But we're in such a weird space in terms of the industry on the artist perspective, that there's a lot of bullshit, but it's also like low-key the best time to be an independent artist. We could talk about social media, period, but also with aggregation and distributors. Those two things paired together, the fact that you have a fucking cell phone and a computer that you can just push shit out of in terms of marketing and promotion, and then you have one-stop aggregators and distribution that DistroKid, like, you paid $20 and you can release as much music as you like to every single platform. The resources in marketing, of course, are going to be skewed compared to a label. But the thing is that as an artist, you have the power to build yourself. And that is really where the value comes in when it comes to in-person marketing, social media, things like that. If you are consistent with it and you put that the extra $50 that you got of your paycheck, like, into some promotion, some actual advertising, not promotion, but actual advertising, and you stay consistent with your shit, that's how you slowly build, you build what you want to build, essentially. And it's cool because we have the power to do that now. Artists have the power. They don't have to ask anyone to put out what they want. In truth, anybody can do whatever the fuck they want. But the probability is so much higher now. And the possibility is it makes me happy to think about, because this industry, regardless of if you're an artist, if you're like me, I do art, but like, if you're on the business side of things, whatever position you want to be in, it's fucking discouraging as hell to be in this industry. And if you know, if you're in it, especially being like young and trying to break in. So knowing the fact that, like, the climate that we're in, there's a possibility of it much more than it used to be. Like, gatekeepers still exist, but like, TikTok is a great example, and I'm going on a tangent right now, but like, TikTok is a great example. And I heard this girl, she put it so perfectly correct. 99.9999999 don't fucking make it. Do not fucking make it. But the way that algorithms work and that social media and the shit works, not even the paid shit, just whatever, you have a chance every single video that you post to get in that 0.0000001%. You have that chance every single time that you post something. It may not pop, but like, if you're active on TikTok and you, Don Valley is he's a great example of this. Don is talented. Let me remind you that there's a lot of talented motherfuckers on this planet, but Don is talented. But without him staying consistent, just generating content through TikTok and not being a bitch about it, like, real shit, not being a bitch about it and just doing it and saying, you know what, I don't care if I look stupid. I don't care if people are going to judge me. I don't care if, if it doesn't pop off, I'm going to take the chance. And look, now he has the resources to do what he wants. I haven't kept too many tabs on him, but I promise you, he's got A&Rs in his fucking inbox. You know what I'm saying? And now the even better thing about the climate that we're in, you don't even need a label anymore. Once you get to that level and you just continue expanding, you don't need a label anymore. Because what are they going to do for you? What are they going to do for somebody who has an audience, resources, and good music, and connections, and leverage? And that's what it is that leverage can, even if you don't have the connections, if you have leverage in an audience, you can get pretty much into any door that you want. And that's kind of an issue for labels and for the industry in general. But I'm going to move on because I've been talking about this for way too long. Some artist accomplishments. Eminem, the man, the myth, the legend, has broken the record for most gold and platinum singles certified by the RIAA. This is reported by NME. They announced last week on March 8th that the rapper has become the artist with the most gold and platinum certifications in the 64-year history of the award recognition, pushed by the feedback after his incendiary performance at this year's Super Bowl. He was recently awarded with 73.5 million new certifications. That's fucking crazy. Cool. I'm not gonna say too much about it. But that's just fucking imagine being in that man's shoes right now. How would you feel? Let me know how the fuck you would feel if, regardless of genre, bro, you have the most, like, the record of the most gold and platinum certified singles. How would that fucking feel? Moving on, we have Tank's I Deserve reaching #1 on the R&B radio charts, and Lil Baby's song My Turn breaking the record for the longest streak in terms of charting on the R&B and hip hop top 10 charts. Some different industry updates that I'm gonna bring to you guys today. If you didn't know, TikTok, Lord have mercy, TikTok has partnered with TuneCore for their own distribution service. Very cool stuff happening. I'm kind of mad at myself for being surprised by it because, TikTok, first of all, is the biggest social media platform in the world, on the globe right now. And second of all, it has been and continues to completely disrupt the industry. The industry is basically, at this point, there's a large part of the industry that is literally dictated by TikTok. If you're signed to a label, bitch, if you haven't noticed, over the past year or so, you would slowly see the bigger ones pop up on TikTok. It wasn't really like that before, but now, if you're signed to a label, they're gonna have you on TikTok and they're gonna be on your ass about it because they know. If you don't know, you don't know. But if you know, you understand. TikTok is one of the biggest ways, besides people's streaming services and the curated playlists that they already have. TikTok is is the way that especially young people, which is the market that the music industry lives in, especially in terms of pop music, commercial music. That's where youngins get their fucking music from. That's where they learn about shit. That is where they live, essentially. So this idea of them having a new distribution platform for music specifically is really not that surprising, and I'm really excited to see what it does in terms of the artists that utilize it. There's a lot of cool perks that come with it in terms of the ability to get verified pretty simply, the ability for TikTok and the people behind them and their resources to help you in terms of sync licensing and placements and things of that matter. Actually using their resources to push your stuff out that you're, distributing through them. So it's a very, very, very exciting thing that's happening. And I don't think it's going to slow down anytime soon. I think eventually there's, as there always is, there's going to be the next best thing. There's going to be a new app. There's going to be a new social media, whatever. But I'm very excited to see where this goes, especially because they have partnered with TuneCore to do this, which I'm sure you already know is already an established aggregator, not distribution company. I may talk about this a little bit, but I'll just put it in. TuneCore, DistroKid, United Masters, what is it? 150, there's a lot of them. But the biggest ones that we know, CD Baby, TuneCore, DistroKid, blah, blah, blah. Those are not distribution companies. Those are aggregators. And I'm not going to get into why, but just look up aggregator versus distributor music, and you'll understand what I'm saying. So there is a difference, but it's very cool that this is happening because, in truth, I think they did that for a specific reason. They didn't pop up with the Orchard, or they didn't pop up with a different distribution one stop, because they know the market of people that they want to, you know, distribute under this company aren't the type of people who go to actual distributors. And yeah, I think it's really cool because meaning that this is for the people. This is for unsigned independent artists who don't have the resources that are needed to do what they really want to do. So like I keep saying, I'm very excited to see where it goes, what kind of is taken out of it. And I think it's going to be a really good thing, very good thing for the people who are brave enough, I guess you could say, to actually go through with it and utilize the resource that, you know, they're kind of being given, especially because it's free to distribute through it. How like that? To me, that's all you got to tell me. Free? What? Yeah. Okay. Moving on. We have Snoop Dogg removing most of Death Row's catalog from streaming services as the label transitions to essentially a Web3 label. If you didn't know, Snoop Dogg has acquired Death Row Records, and he basically said, we're not doing any regular shit anymore. We're moving into the metaverse. We're moving into Web 3.0, and everything's gonna have an NFT. Everything's gonna have an avatar. We're that kind of wave. That's what he's turning Death Row into. Do I think it was necessarily? Let me rephrase. Am I happy that he removed most of Death Row's catalog? No, and I don't necessarily know if that was the best option, but I think he wants to make a full and complete transition over to Web3. And he's just doing what he sees, you know, fit in the specific circumstance. And this is another thing that, like, I'm really excited to see the development on. And the precedent that it sets as well, because we have plenty of, you know, online markets, for, you know, online music markets for NFTs and Web3 and stuff like that. And plenty of partnerships with huge labels as well. But for some reason, the idea of it not just being a partnership, but something that Death Row is like completely encompassing itself in, I think that it may be the thing that like sets a huge precedent for this continuing in the future, especially with like having completely only Web3 metaverse NFT type labels who do not do any traditional distribution or even traditional shows and things like that. Anyways, moving on. Music Business Insider reports that the streaming giant Spotify was granted a patent for what amounts to talent scouting software. The grant awarded to Spotify on March 1st states that Spotify has created a system and method for breaking artist prediction in a media content environment. So basically what this means, hey, Miss Ebony, I have to actually answer this because you better not have just gone away from me. But like, I keep tabs on this person because she was one of my counselors at Boys and Girls Club. Like my favorite counselor at Boys and Girls Club. So I had to break away from what I was doing to reply to her, but I think she already left. Anyways. Oh, yeah, Spotify. So Spotify has essentially what they've done is their algorithm and the technology that they and the technology and the programs within them they're so goddamn good. And if you use Spotify, like, you know, like me personally, I was literally having a conversation about this last night. Like, my Discover Weekly and my like release radar, that shit is top fucking tier. Like, of course, everyone thinks that their music taste is the best, but the science that they have behind their their algorithm, and they just know, bro. Like, they just know. And this development in terms of them creating a program and a system to find new unsigned and small artists, and basically being able to be like, oh yeah, that one, give them a year and a half. And that is amazing, but also scary. Like, the thing is if this is something that is adopted, because they did patent it, so it's one of those things. Am I talking about Spotify for Artists? I am talking. Let me reread it for you, okay? So, Music Business Insider reports that Spotify was granted a patent for what amounts to a talent scouting software. So, Spotify has essentially patented like an A&R algorithm, essentially. So Spotify has the ability, as we know now, to literally, like, you could have 1,000 plays, and they have the ability to go through your shit and be able to say, oh yeah, give them a year, they're gonna be up. Or you you just need a couple more resources, so let's see how we can get them to you. And essentially what this is going to do, essentially, because it's patented, and they'll be able to they could just keep it all for themselves, which cool, but they also do have the ability to like license this program out to other labels and things like that. And this, if this continues, mark my words, this is gonna be in an archive, this fucking video. A&R will be dead. A&R will be dead, and it will be completely automated. If this specifically, not just Spotify, but like, if the idea of having automated A&R takes off, and it works, bro, and it works, that's that. Because, especially in capitalism, it's like, if I could build a program to do that shit for me, all I got to do is put the money up front, and I don't have to pay for that thing after I perfect it. Why would they ever go back? And yes, it is very cool. I hope that it does good things for the artists that it picks up on, but it's definitely like it's like any weapon. That's how I feel. This is a weapon right here. And you can either use it for righteous actions, or you can fuck shit up, But yeah, so I'm gonna move on from that. D sales rose for the first time in 2 decades last year. CD, I don't know why I just said D. CD sales have rose for the first time in the past 2 decades. I've talked a little bit about this before, like the difference between digital music and physical music. I'm sure, as we all know, like, vinyl has a huge group of collectors and people who just really fuck with vinyl. CDs, not so much, unless you're like me, you have an old ass car that only has a CD player. But there's not many folks like that. But it's really cool to see growth, because the profit margin on physical copies, regardless of the format that you're using, is like ridiculous compared to streaming services and digital music, even if it's a fucking download. Well, okay. Moving on. 2021 was a momentous year for the 3 major music companies. Music Business Worldwide research, based on the published financial numbers for Sony, Universal, and Warner, has discovered that the 3 majors generated over $4 billion more than it did last year. And let me just say that, not just $4 billion more than they already did the year prior. And cumulatively generated $23.11 billion across the 12 months of 2021. And that is equivalent. Lord have mercy. Anyways, that is equivalent to $2.3 million every fucking hour. Ain't that some shit, bro? And I have like a love-hate relationship with seeing these fucking numbers because I like to know how that's just distributed. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to just leave it at that. We have Downtown Music recently launching a fund of $200 million to support independent artists and businesses within the music industry. This is one of the things. Yeah, exactly. Where's your fucking cut? Anyways, yeah. So Downtown Music, they have this fund for independent artists and businesses. This is one of those things that I would also kind of put it into the like viewer opportunities. Whenever you notice that there are certain funds for things that you like fit the fucking bill for, do more research on it. Find out how you can get in. So now's a perfect time to plug. Like in my my Instagram bio, there's the news links for every single thing that I'm talking about right now. So if you want to learn more, you want to see how you can get a cut of that $200 million, go research it. Take the time to do it. Next up, we have 6 leading women in tech. Chantel Epp, she is the founder of Click and Clear. Christine Osazua, I definitely said that wrong, but she's the founder of Measure of Music. Jessica Powell, co-founder and CEO of AudioShake. Zhao Yin Ku, who is the founder and CEO of Run the World. And then we have Natasha Stanbuli, a general manager at Boomplay, and Lydia Gregory, CEO and founder of Feedforward. So if you're interested in finding out more about these lovely ladies in tech, once again, everything is linked either down below if you're on YouTube or in my bio if you're on Instagram. Some new industry position changes. So people moving around in companies to different companies in the companies that they're already at, stuff like that. Woo! Warner Music's Atlantic Records Group, including Atlantic Records, as well as Elektra Music Group, has promoted 10-year WMG team manager Aiton Bon Horan to EVP of Global A&R. The former Ultra Music Festival exec has also launched a publishing partnership with Warner Chappell. Downtown Music Services has upped former CD Baby exec Dan Miller to Director of Client Services, while nearly 7-year Downtown vet David Labovich has been elevated to Content Operations Manager. Utopia has hired Jonathan Abon, formerly with Here Technologies, as the VP for Distribution Services, and Jordan Gremley, previously with DICE, has joined the company as a VP of Product Creator Services. Ganstand Media has brought on 6-year Golden Voice Publicity Manager Jessica Puccilli, I don't know, as a Director of Tours and Festivals. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, has hired Hollywood Unlocked founder Jason Lee. This is fucking interesting to me. Very interesting to me. And I feel like if you don't know, I wouldn't say not know, but if you don't like keep up with Kanye the way that like Kanye people keep up with Kanye, this wouldn't be as interesting to you in terms of the way that I'm looking at it. But like if you know what Hollywood Unlocked is, that essentially to me is Shade Room 2.0. And is it smart for Kanye to hire him in terms of like publicity and stuff like that? Of course. But it shows that man's fucking like motives and that man's agendas, bro. There's a lot of truth into what's happening right now with him and his fucking divorce and all the bullshit that has nothing to do with music that I hate fucking hearing about. But I think this little tidbit, this little tiny little fine print thing, like I said, really shows what this is all. It's like I said, there's some truth to it, but bro is in his bag. That's what I'm gonna say. Moving on. STEM has tapped former Spotify product marketing lead Charlton Lamb to serve as their head of marketing. Longtime Pamplona capital management partner Marcu Longvis is now Hypnosis Song Management's chief investment officer. CAA has hired former Nike higher-up Hillary Crane as its chief legal officer, and Downtown Music Holdings has added former SoundCloud chief revenue officer Allison Moore and former CSAC president Kelly Turner to his board of directors. Very, very cool. You're all good, bro. Pop in and out. It's no problem. I am going to pop in and out real quick because I need to charge my phone, and I don't want to die. And these are these little things, bro, like in the beginning where I just should have already had the shit figured out, but didn't. But it happens, man. This is real life. This is actually low-key why I started doing these live instead of pre-recorded. Like, when I did them pre-recorded, that was like not me. Oh, hey. I forget that I'm on Instagram or YouTube when I'm also on Instagram Live. Let's see if y'all can still see me the way you should. Okay, that's fine. All right. We have Universal Music UK uniting its EMI and Capitol labels under the joint leadership of Rebecca Allen and Joe Sherrington. As a part of the move, Capitol Records UK roster and team become part of a wider EMI family, reuniting two historic labels whose partnership goes back almost 70 years. So this is pretty interesting. My phone is tweaking for some goddamn reason. Let me know actually real quick in the comments if you can hear me properly, because my shit's bugging right now. That's besides the point. The UK's Competition and Markets Authority has officially cleared Sony Music purchase of AWOL label services from Cobalt. If you don't know, this has been in the works for a really long time. Not really long time, but it's been in the works for a while. I'm sure you know the fucking United States works differently from other countries. The UK has to sign off on really big partnerships like that. So it took a while. Once Sony had acquired AWOL many months ago, but the UK's government and the way that it works with big acquisitions like that, they had to sign off before it could actually be official. So that finally happened. I'm sure Sony is very, very happy about it, and that is just that. Sound Exchange has named Timothy Korpinen Chief Business Development Officer to oversee the Sound Exchange digital footprint expansion. Wow. We have Equalize Her launching at South by Southwest with another round of panels and showcases slated for Wednesday, March 16th. So it already happened. But Linda Perry, the music producer and songwriter, teamed up with philanthropist Alicia Ballard to bring the initiative to life. Essentially, what Equalize Her is a initiative program, thing along that lines, to propel women in the music industry within all different spheres in terms of positions and things like that. And essentially, what this is saying is that it's very new, but they did some cool stuff at South by Southwest. Yeah, that's that. Data collected by the Association of Independent and Major Record Labels has revealed that the UK recorded music industry has increased by 12.8% following a drop in sales in 2020. Business and financial management platform Hi-Fi has completed a strategic funding round with a heavyweight list of backers, including artists, executives, artist management, and prominent investors. One thing that I'll say about that, if you see a development in anything or any type of project, doing research on who's behind it is basically how you know if it's good or not, if it's legit, if it's something you want to be interested in. So the fact that there are prominent people behind this is something that shows you that it might be something that you want to put your attention on, especially because it has to do with finance, and regardless of where you are in the industry, you need to be thinking about where your money is, like especially as an artist. Financial management is really important, regardless if you have a business manager or not. So definitely something to continue to keep up with and look at. Sydney's iconic Vivid Festival is set to return in May and June this year after various delays due to COVID-19. As a part of this year's revived event, Universal Music Group's brand and marketing arm, Bring, has partnered with the NSW government to put together an event about the future of music marketing. That kind of is crazy to me. That Universal and a government teamed up to do something together that doesn't have anything to do with government shit. I don't know. Next up, we have Web3. There's less on here than I would usually talk about, but yeah. In less than 4 months, a new remote European-based NFT startup, Digital Renaissance, has grown from 5 to 27 employees, launched their own token, raised 1.5 mil solely through the pre-sale of their token, and are now getting ready to launch their beta marketplace. Digital Renaissance is on a mission to create a world in which underground artists, musicians, and brands can utilize blockchain technology to create new revenue streams and build stronger connections with their fans. So I don't know how many of you are interested in Web3 and NFTs and all these different things, but if you are, I'm sure you know a new company pops up every damn day. A new something that has to do with it is popping up every single day. But if you're really interested in it, you have to read every damn thing. Some of them are gonna be pointless, and it's not gonna be valuable for you. But that's why you do the research, because you gotta get through the bullshit to get to the gold, right? So yeah, if you're interested in it, it's something that, what I'm saying with that is that if you're interested in NFTs and Web3 and things like that, which you should be if you're in the music industry, go and do a little bit more research. Go take a look. I'll say it again. Everything that I talk about in this podcast for you guys on Instagram is linked in my bio, and for you guys, it's in the description. Ashanti is partnering with EQ Exchange, a Web3 company dedicated to the musician-fan relationship that utilizes blockchain technology. Founded by entrepreneur Janice Taylor, Ashanti will serve as a co-founder, making her the first Black female to hold a title at a Web3 company. Very fucking cool. Just really fucking cool. In the following BMW, which is Music Business Worldwide, exchange, which officially, I'm reading the wrong shit. My bad, y'all. No, I'm not. In the following MBW, holy shit, op-ed, Bruno Guez, CEO of digital rights administration company Revelator, suggests that 2022 will be the year where DSPs / distributors back the adoption of Web3 and the incorporation of NFTs and blockchain technology. So essentially what this is saying is homie thinks that the big dogs are going to start getting, they're going to start doing this shit because they don't really have a choice. The industry has already been on the wave of adopting NFTs and Web3 and incorporating it into the business model and structure and all these different things. But I'm sure your Apple Music doesn't have NFTs yet. Spotify doesn't have NFTs yet. Bandcamp don't have NFTs. But what he's saying is that they're going to, in 2022, it's going to happen because they don't have a choice. And I think it's in my perspective, if they didn't, it'd be kind of stupid because DSPs is where everybody's at when they're listening to music. So the ability for them to, like, they're already there. They already have their low subscription. That's already where their, you know, their personal catalog is. And then all you got to do is just go to a different page to purchase an NFT or to go to a metaverse show or something like that. It'd be stupid if they didn't do that. That's how I feel. Like, why allow another company, in their perspective, why allow another company to take on, you know, that huge market, essentially, when you already have those people under your fucking thumb, and all you got to do is put the resources and update your fucking system. So it's cool that it's happening. In my perspective, I'm kind of like, why didn't it happen sooner? But it also may be because it's still developing. Yeah. Wow. Some partnerships, acquisitions, and deals. So Sony, their Latin Iberia arm, has struck a new partnership with WK Records, the label founded by WK Entertainment CEO and founder Walter Combe. We have Sony spending approximately $911 million on music catalog acquisitions in the 10 months leading up to February 2022. If you actually watch the podcast, and you'd be like tapping in with me and stuff, you know that all that was in the fucking news in terms of music industry was acquisitions for a long time, especially the heritage artists, I guess you could say. People who have been in the game for a really long time. A lot of the 70s and 80s motherfuckers who were popping back in their day, and who still have certain hits, especially like rock stars. A lot of them have sold off their catalogs for huge sums of money, and that's just the wave right now. I don't know. I think that's a conversation kind of the industry investing in old music instead of investing in creating what the new wave is. But I think that may tie into what I was talking about really early in this episode about new artists don't need labels. There's always going to be people who are like, let me just get my deal. I just need my deal. I just need blah, blah, blah. But in truth, with the climate that the way things are, new artists don't need labels. So the way that I'm kind of connecting the dots right now is it's if artists really don't need labels, hell yeah, the label is gonna invest in the old shit that they already, does that make sense? Okay. I'm gonna move on. Universal Music Group's Virgin Music Label and Artist Services division has entered into a global partnership with Australia's largest independent label group, Mushroom, to support and distribute Mushroom's artists' releases, outside of Australia and New Zealand, so worldwide. We have, once again, a Universal Music Group acquiring about 200 recordings from Nat King Cole, from his estate specifically, bringing up all of his recordings under the UMG ownership. The songs are primarily between 1961 and 64, and were previously licensed to Capitol Records under a deal negotiated after Cole's rise to fame. So we're coming up on the end, y'all. It's been a fucking it's been an hour, which is kind of normal now for the way that I've been doing them. But as you can tell, my voice is dead. So this has been a lot. But for live music, the industry leaders are urging Chancellor Rishi Sunak to abandon a large increase on concert and live event tickets, due to come into force on the 1st of April. So the 7.5% hike would see a tax return to its prehistoric level of 20%, a move that would impact music lovers and be hugely damaging to the industry, according to trade body UK Music. So to just break that down a little bit, a company very similar to like Ticketmaster or something like that, just a spot where people buy tickets, is hiking up their prices in order to recoup what they lost during the pandemic. And people are not happy about it. I wouldn't be happy about it either. Like, to me, it's like take the loss and rebuild. I understand from a business perspective of like, we got to do it. But you also have to take into, consideration average no-shows are like 50% right now, with COVID and the what's the word I'm looking for? Just the different things that have been happening with it, and as we move forward and as we continue to go through the bullshit. So the fact that they're raising their prices when people are already very hesitant to go out. People are literally not showing up. Like 50% of people who actually buy tickets are not even coming. Like, raising the prices just seems like a stupid move. So I definitely agree with the trade body of UK Music in terms of like, what are you doing, bro? But people do what they do. People like money. People don't like losing money, so they do what they can to recoup it. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's a decision that's either gonna bite you in the ass or it's gonna do good. So if you take the chance, you take the chance. Next up, we have Tucson's dynamic hip hop community being celebrated this weekend at the Tuscan Hip Hop Festival. It's underway for the first time since the beginning of the pandemic. So it already happened. It was today or yesterday and today. But just, cool stuff in live music, because we don't see too much about it. It's not that we don't see too much about it, but there's a decreased level of shows happening. There's a decreased level of news about it. So if I see something, I'm going to put it in. We have Erykah Badu and Miguel announcing for an R&B only festival put up by Colors and Live Nation. It's going to take place May 28th. I want to be there. It's going to be a couple days after my birthday. I'd love to be there. So if anyone wants to come with me, just let me know. I'm sure it's going to be a good time. Anyways, the Black Promoters Collective, BPC, is on a mission to be the world's leading producer and provider of culturally relevant live entertainment experiences. The PCB put together New Edition's Culture Tour, the Night 22 tour with Maxwell, Joe, and Anthony Hamilton to kick off the venture. So I think this is really cool, and I think it's something that it's gonna pop off already. Like, the New Edition shit, like, low-key revived New Edition's career. And overall, it's definitely just really fucking cool. And I'm excited to see what comes out of it, what changes are made, and what they're able to amount to within this new endeavor. I think there's going to be a lot of cool fucking shows that come out of it. Finally, this is the last little section. If I see that there's been folks in the industry who've passed away, I always put them in here, pay some respects, because they paved the way for me to have this conversation. On that note, Timmy Thomas, he passed away this week. He rose to global success through his incredible 1973 anti-war song, Why Can't We Live Together?, which went on to inspire numerous covers over the years, including Sade on her 1984 album Diamond Life, and more recently it was sampled by Drake for Hotline Bling. This one was so surprising to me. This next person, Tracy Braxton, passed away. I don't know. There's like shit in here about her, but I just don't about who she is and stuff like that. But I'm sure you guys already know. And it was just really surprising. It very surprising to me, because it's always surprising and hits me more when it's a younger person who passes. But yeah, man. On that note, as per usual, I offer my condolences. As I said before, I talk about the folks who have passed away in the week of when I'm doing research and stuff like that, because they paved the way for us, and I feel like it's only right to respect that. But on that note, you guys, thank you for watching. I regardless of if you stay or you pop in for a second and want me to shut the fuck up so you leave. I appreciate the pop in regardless. I put a lot of time and energy into these podcasts in terms of research. Today my preparation skills were not on point. As you can see, I had to get up to charge my phone. Shit was fucked up in terms of like order of the information. But yeah, I enjoy doing this podcast. I think it's something that's like heavily necessary, not only for people like me who are in the industry and on the business side of things, but for artists as well. Like you guys need to know what's going on, especially if you don't have a team behind you yet. So please, I really enjoy feedback. If you hate it, let me know. If you like it, let me know. If there's something specific you want me to talk about on the podcast, Lord, today's not a good day. If there's something specific you want me to talk on the podcast, send me a DM, send me an email. My number's in my contact list as well. So just let me know. And also if you're wanting to have your own conversation about the industry with me, whether it be on live or just on the phone or through text message, whatever, let me know. Very open to it. Always willing to talk. Always wanting to spread information. So on that note, I'm gonna deal with the YouTube first. Goodbye. This is always like the